Now let's add a new section and look at how to add files and display images. So let's edit this whole page here by clicking the edit link at the top. And I'm going to add a new subsection with the 3 equal signs called Files and Images. And in that, the first thing I want to do is display a file. And so at the top here, there are 2 icons that help you embed an image and link to a file. So let's do the first one where we embed a file. And again, this one, because it's an internal file, it uses the 2 square brackets. But this time it's 2 square brackets, and then you write file, colon, and the name of the file. So I have one on a list here that I'm going to type in. It's part of the Ecuador project, and it's a scanned topo map that they use. Now let me just read what the file name is. It's a little long, and it's a JPEG. So let me just double check to make sure that I spelled all that right. Now this is a typo in the file name here actually. Oops, VI. Okay, now that we have the file name written here, we can take a look at what this will look like on the page. Now this file is pretty large, it's not going to look quite right, and here you can see it doesn't really fit on the page very well. So let's go and edit this to make it look a little nicer. So we'll add, after the file name, we can add a vertical bar and just write thumb, and that should display the thumbnail image, so a smaller image. But here you can see it's kind of floating to the right and doesn't really look right. And if we add underneath this some new sections, just maybe test section and a subsection under that, so the 3 equal signs, and save this. Another thing that won't look quite right is that the section headings are next to this file, which should be under the file and images subsection. So one way I've found to get around that is to put the image in a table. Now the syntax for a table is a little confusing. I'm just going to do a basic table here, and you can read more about it on the help page. But to do that, you use a curly bracket, vertical bar, and then you close it with a vertical bar, curly bracket, and that's how you encapsulate a table. And then to put a cell in, you just put a vertical bar in front of the cell. And to do different things like rows and embedded, nested tables, I'd suggest going to the help page on our wiki, and I have a link there to Wikipedia's article on how to do tables. So let's look at this. So now that it's in a table, you can see here it's floating back to the left where I think it should be, and it's also the sections underneath it are where they should be. Now one other thing about files is you can add another vertical bar after thumb, and you can write a caption. So this is just a topo map. And if we show the preview, underneath the image it says topo map. So you can add captions under the images, which is pretty useful. You can also resize the images that you want to show. Instead of just showing a thumbnail, you can put different pixel widths. All of that is on the upload page when you upload the file, and you can find it on Wikipedia and our help page. There's a link there to it. So the next thing I want to put, so we just put an embedded file, which is this icon right here. Let's link to a file. So here it's the 2 square brackets, and then you type media, colon, and the file name. So I have another file I'd like to type in, which I'll type in. And I've typed this in, and you can put a vertical bar here to display a more useful name. So this is a material purchase list from the Ecuador project. And let's save the page. And here you'll see what we typed in material purchase list. And if you click on this, it prompts you to download the file. Now the difference between this media link and this file link is when you click on this file, it brings you to the page where the file is located in the wiki, which has information about the file history, and so the file history here. And you can upload a new version of the file if you have updates, if you're collaborating in a group on, say, a report and you're updating it constantly. And it shows you where this page is linked, so what pages. So it's on the Ecuador Maps page, and it's also on our test page. And additionally, there's metadata that was stored with the image. So sometimes some images, pictures will have GPS data that can be pretty useful, and other information about when it was taken, who took it. You can put a lot of information in the metadata. So let's go back to our test page. And that's pretty much a general overview of how to do files and images. We've looked at links and different fonts and lists. And one thing I'd like to point out is that with all these headings and subheadings, so our heading here of examples and a subheading of fonts and lists, an automatic table of contents was generated by the wiki. So you can click on these and it'll bring you down to the section that you're interested in, which is helpful in really big pages, although sometimes big pages aren't ideal in a wiki, but it helps you organize the information and it automatically generates that table of contents for you. So all this information you've probably found on our help page, but you can go back there, and under editing there's more information from Wikipedia about general editing markups, and also information about how to create tables. So these are really useful tools, but I think now you have a good foundation to get started and be dangerous, so have fun.